So as we were thinking about our New Year's resolutions, mine were both kind of very life-focused, right? I wanted to be more protective of my time. I wanted to ensure that I had family time. This one fills kind of that same void, but also adds a twist of, do you just want to fucking thunder some drums up? Which I do. When I made this very podcast studio, the Misfits came in and said, business first. You will no longer have your beat lab. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. And I did it for the group. Now I have rearranged my house so that the beat lab can come back this year, right? Not being able to drop fat beats and practice my craft has made me weaker and softer, I feel like, across the board. There's something about taking your shirt off and just let it jiggle as you fucking throw down a fill that I've really missed in life. So Hellbender, the Shudder original classic, talks a lot about family, spending time, and dropping fucking fat beats. The movie also is a tale about witchcraft. Alex, what were your opening thoughts on Hellbender?
Well, I'll tell you what my opening thoughts weren't. Is I hope Griffey gets his beat lab, quote unquote, back because, you know,
the just absolute cunty tone of this not supporting your friend and life mate is unacceptable.
God forbid the world does not get to hear your, you know, I wish I was in 21 Pilots drum beats, but, you know.
What?
It's fine.
First off, your fucking tone has already made me drop a fat C at the start of the show, which is not cool. Normally that takes me a little while. I don't want to be in 21 Pilots. I'm under no illusions that I'm good at drums. I'm saying I feel spiritually connected to the gods when I'm dropping beats. What's wrong with that?
I'm very happy that you can get your drums set back up. No beat lab, though. Let's be real.
Well, that's where I craft my beats.
I really like. Let's pump the brakes on the words craft and beats when it comes to guy not in band drumming. Yeah, I really liked Hellbender, actually. I didn't realize this was, a family affair completely, by the way. Everyone in this movie is related. I did not, but also, yeah, so John Adams, Toby Poser, and Zelda Adams are all...
Yes, the Adams family, yeah.
They are
right.
Mother, daughter, and husband, I believe. So this is kind of crazy. I actually know Toby Poser.
You know Mama Witch in this movie?
I know Mama Witch in this movie. She starred in a movie that... Not starred. She was... I think she's the third lead, technically. She's the third lead in this movie that I helped produce a couple of years ago. And so when we started watching this, like, I paused it and I was like, wait a second. It's like, oh shit, it's Toby. She's excellent in the movie that I helped produce. She's very excellent here. I fucking love this. I had a great time watching this movie. Again, this is like the perfect example of just a lot with a little. It does not take much, man. Like, if you just have people who are ready to rock, literally in this case, you know, this is perfect filmmaking for me. Like, I love this speed of just, you know, you don't need... And look, there is some flashy stuff in here. You know, the CGI is not great. Like, some of the graphics, I'm like, I didn't need that.
Yeah,
but
that's
also,
the weirdest
that's
thing.
fine.
Is when they crank the knob up and they go to, like, the old... It reminds me so much of, like, first wave internet shit, right? Like, the visions from the book of, you know, Shadows or Secrets, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I had forgotten. When this came out, it was kind of one of those, like, Shudder was just starting to get into, you know, originals and this and that. I remember seeing it and just being blown away. I was like, holy shit, I had forgotten. So my experience of the movie is I had watched it 2 or 3 times. I watched it, showed it to my wife, told everyone to watch it, really dug it, right? It's kind of this weird folk horror meets family drama. And then all of a sudden, I had totally erased from my mind the Internet 1.0 graphics for all the CG, which are fucking terrible.
It happens. There's one particularly that really like took me out of it and took me a minute. It's towards the end when the daughter's like finally kind of revealing like, hey, guess what? I know some shit now. And like when like the hellfire comes in, I'm like,
yeah, it's like the first people on the internet who are like, I can make Star Wars with whatever programs I have on this Dell computer. And you're like, yikes. No, because that's the thing. The movie starts with this witch who's caught. And they do this really incredible effect where she's like flying up into the sky and her face is on fire. And you're like, oh, fuck, dude, this movie must have some money. And then the rest of the movie does not bear that out. They put it where it needed. So again, the movie starts off with a cold open that is incredible, right? We're kind of pushing past this fleshy mound. It looks like there's all these like kind of baby faces or skulls. You're like, all right. And there's just this wild-haired old lady, right, who's munching the flesh. Yeah. They find her. They take her out and they hang her, right? All these like fucking pilgrims, you know, Quakers, whatever, are watching her. They hang her, and she dies, right? And they're kind of like, meh. All of a sudden, the feet start moving. And the whole body moves. So this lady runs up with a revolver and just empties the fucking clip on her. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
She's still moving. They're trying everything. Some lady's going to stab her. And out of nowhere, her body, whoosh, flies into the sky. And she starts fucking igniting and combusting and just boom, boom. Fucking fat beat drops in. Hellbender. And then it's the very avant-garde kind of band, right? Mother-daughter drum and bass only band.
Yeah, that's 21 Pilots.
It was this colliding of styles that you just go, whatever is happening right now, I fucking love this turn.
What I liked was it, because again, I feel like sometimes the concept of folk horror, and again, I haven't watched that documentary all the way through. However, I do find, especially now, the concept of folk horror kind of gets co-opted by low budget movies, because like, oh well, I could be in the woods and make a movie. It's like, hey, I get it, that's cool too. So when it started, I was like, okay, well, that's neat. Oh, is that Toby? And then the credits started, and then it cuts to them in the basement jamming. I'm like, this I can get behind. This I'm feeling. Like, this is the perfect proliferation of, let's not do folk horror, let's just do like that outline.
This isn't like the really stranger nice, who like
it's a nice outline.
Yeah, this isn't the stranger that like wanders into like a town lost to time with rituals and whatever. This essentially is we're following the monster from a folk horror story who's trying not to go into the real world, right? And there's just something so adorable about the film too, because the film lays out the mythology of the Hellbender, right? So the Hellbenders in this, as she says at one point, they're a mix between a witch, a demon, and an apex predator. In the movie, without having to explain rituals, without having to do a lot of explanation, that's all they give us. The one rule of the film is that the eating of flesh, right? The fear in the blood. So the more afraid something is when it dies and they consume it, their powers grow exponentially, right? The inciting kind of launch into this Hellbender witchcraft story is that she just wants to have friends like any teenager, right? She's been told she's very sick her whole life. They start drinking tequila and they drop an actual earthworm in it, right? She chugs it and just, like her body is coursing and surging with a power that she has no idea what it is, right? The movie is taking these kind of layers of mythology and cryptid. But underneath at the core, what this movie nailed that makes the whole thing exceptional is just this fucking mother-daughter story, right? The mother who wants to keep her daughter safe from the world, whose life is very small and contained, right? She's cracked her teeth and cut her claws. And a teenage daughter who just is willing to risk things to be a part of the bigger world, right? And that mother-daughter story is the Hellbenderness is just the icing on the cake. That's what makes this movie exceptional, is those two performances in the core.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the movie really doesn't focus on, because there's a couple of different ways this could go. I like that the movie mostly focuses on the mother actually is kind of trying to contain this, I guess, like, this Hellbenderness that they have inside of them. Like, she's willing to show her daughter, like, it's like anything. You know, like, it's a horrible example. I'm going to use it. It's like video games. Like, you show your kid video games because, like, you know, they're awesome. And then, like, you realize, like, oh, God, what hath I wrought? Because all he wants to do is play video games all the time. You're like, that's probably not great. Like, why don't we try other things, too? And he goes, yeah, that's cool. But did you know video games are still here? It's like, yeah, I get it.
There's the dad who's like, you're 21, I want to do your first shot with you. And then he's also your sponsor 10 years down the road.
Well, it's like this really, there's this very fascinating lineage, this parenting thing. Again, I liked that it was about, we always try to do better. Like, we always try to do better than our parents did. Like, that's just it's almost human nature at this point. So I like that that's really kind of like that's like what the core of the mother's story is. And in, congruence with just a teenager trying to exert some authority over their life, trying to figure out who they are, that kind of thing, who they are outside of their home, outside of their home life. And I think there's something so holistically brilliant about that concept. And then that's just like the little nucleus, and outside everything is everything else weird. It just it works so well together. Like it really does hum. For like the whole 86 minutes, you're just like, we're going, we're moving. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's the closest movie parallel I could think of to this, weirdly, is Teen Wolf, where it's this lineage of some kind of curse that lives amongst the population, right? Like the scene when Michael J. Fox is, and it kind of feels like a puberty sexuality kind of metaphor. And he opens the door and his dad's just this gray puffball. He's like, son, we need to talk. I've lived with this for the whole life and we'll make it work. And then instead of murder, right, Michael J. Fox is just like, have you ever been fingered by a wolf? And or I'm a short guy who had hoop dreams. And you're like, that's definitely one way you can go with it. Hellbender goes a little different, which is this, because it's this mom and daughter who are fun. They have their own thing. It's a mom who's a monster, who's trying so hard not to be. They do the kind of metaphor of the kid's story, right? The wolf and the sheep.
Yeah.
It's a wolf who's trying to live as a sheep. Not a wolf disguised as a sheep, truly earnestly trying to live as a sheep. There's a horrifying scene at the start where we see their dinner plate, and it's like pine cones and weeds, and you're like, Jesus Christ. No wonder this girl became like a fucking flesh-eating cannibal monster. That one you should have seen coming. She's trying to just live off the land, right? She uses magic. We see her kill the kind of hiker right off the bat to keep their secret safe. So she's not an innocent, but she's trying very hard to be, right? Until the world forces her hand, she thinks. Yeah. What it is also is there's this undertone of, by letting your kid grow and move away from you, the erasure that you feel, right? So it's a story about how women can be erased and unseen, but there's no kind of heavy hand of the patriarchy, anything like that. It's simpler. It's a parent who's just like, what happens when your kid doesn't need you and you feel diminished and unseen and unpowerful?
I really liked that was not, like, man, these kinds of movies could get bogged down so quickly in that, like, anti-patriarchy thing. And I liked that they never even it's like not even addressed, like for good reason too, because like you don't need it. But I like that, like, you don't need to address it because the story is not about even like we've been saying, the movie's about lineage. It's not about like a mother and a daughter and only a mother and a daughter and that's who they are and that's how they live. Like, it's about lineage and this mother and daughter and eventually what you find out about these people and how they exist and who they are and how it works. I mean, everything weird that happens in like some of the dream I just gotta take a second. Some of the dream sequences in this movie, like when they share the worm and have their like little hallucinogenic thing together and like vomit blood on top of each other and shit.
Dude, this is that stuff scene that was like, incredible.
I mean, this is not only like the acting in that scene too, like everything about it is so fascinating for a movie that, I mean, like, if they're just shooting at their house, like they shot this at their house. So like at best it costs like, I don't know, $20,000. Like that's like, I mean, like I cannot imagine the budget being that high. It's so well crafted. Like these things are so well done. I was
even at $100,000. That's a small scale. Like $100,000 seems like a ton of money to people, right? And it is. When you are making a film, though, you would be shocked. Like we're talking about, we're working on a new script for our second movie, right? And my fear was, I was like, it's just gonna balloon, right? And it's just kind of a basic like people slaughtering each other movie, right? But it's the little things. It's every location costs money. If you need a scene that has like 20 extras, that costs money. All those people need blood, like it builds so fast. So $100,000 movie, dude, that's shoelace stuff. That's very small, right?
Yeah.
And people make great movies for way less. So whatever this movie cost, right? Because they were paying some actors,
incredible,
right? All this. You said it earlier. This is a movie that is the best example of achieving so much with so little, right? And again, that snow scene, right? Where it's the mother and daughter, and she's kind of, my daughter's opened this door. I know it's happened. I can't unopen it. In a weird way, it's almost once you realize, like, you go to pick up your son's laundry and you're like, oh, why do their socks have corners on them now? Ah, shit, like, it's happened. And you're just like, I just have to be careful to not address the monster in the room, right, as a parent. You knew this day would come. My wife's like, when does that stop? I was like, I'll let you know when I get there. This is just life now. And you have to ignore it. So she knows. So she starts doing the, like, let's eat a worm. Here are these maggots, right? Maggots are the great Death Eaters of the world. Let's eat a couple maggots and get ripped. Next thing we know, they're laughing in the snow. And I think that's the other thing this movie captures so well is the transformation into monster. Once that girl eats the worm and comes home, we know that she probably did something horrible to the man who owned that house, right? Who's mad about his vintage drum set, which, as a fellow beat pioneer, I understand completely.
Shut up. Shut up. Just skip over it.
But
I knew you were going to say it,
too. The movie doesn't pause to be like, oh, she's done a monstrous thing. She's a no-good, evil monster, scary. The whole thing.
It's just part of the story.
This isn't a Wolfman where it's like, now look at the hair and the fang. She's still the same person, just her world is expanding.
Yeah.
So them eating the maggots and going out on the snow, and they're just kind of rolling around together. They're looking. They're shooting, like, smoke clouds like they're Gandalf in the Shire. You're like, this is kind of adorable. And she's like, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
They start playing. She's like, let's fly. And she's like, it'll take more than worms to fly. Blah! They start puking blood. She's like, you greedy cunt. And they, like, puke blood on each other. And again, monstrous imagery, monstrous ramifications of what this image means. But it's like when me and my son roll around on the floor and wrestle, right? It's just there's a beauty belying all of these images that we know are horror movie images.
Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, again, it's not even, it's not conventional, yet it's somehow, like, completely familiar. I think that's it's the real strength the whole, like, story has, is you're just, again, you're never taken out of a place where you're just like, oh man, I'm so far out of my depth. Like, there's nothing within the genre itself that feels so far off that I'm like, I'm not, like, it's either we've pulled a thread too far or we're never going to be able to come back. I loved how familiar everything felt in this movie. Like, there's nothing, I mean, obviously not eating people, but, you know, there's something like the emotions, and there's the very real feeling of like losing control of your child, and then as a child, like, discovering these new things about yourself. Like, there's something really, like, those metaphors are so crystal clear that, like, there's such a, those metaphors are so crystal clear that, and you don't need to beat them over the head either. It works so well. It shouldn't work that well, because again, this movie is like, nothing is, like, so overstated. I was so surprised by how, like, on Front Street the movie was, yet not being, like, it's almost like, it's like got this almost Gus Van Sant quality of, like, not being, like, just, like, it's sort of just like the camera just sort of sits back and lets it happen. It's really
cinema verite in a way, right? Like, it feels very real, and then all of a sudden,
I guess so, yeah.
Like, hey, do you remember What Dreams May Come? Graphics, and you're like, okay, it's a movie still. But no, like, so yesterday I was at my son's basketball game, right? And it dawned on me. It's like, when I was a kid, I was a small country school kid. You want to be on the basketball team, be in the basketball team. When I wanted to be in the play, cool, there weren't that many of us. You're in the play. You get to do stuff. We are now at a massive, like, 5A, could be on the verge of 6A high school, right? And all the travel teams are playing, and my son's on one. I see all these other kids that I teach, they're on others, and you're like, there's like 6 fucking travel teams just here. And that doesn't include the rec kids, the kids who haven't moved here yet. And my son has huge basketball dreams. Like, he wants to be, like, a great all-time basketball player. And I remember that phase of my life. And I'm watching him play, and you start doing this dad thing where it's every play I'm watching, you're like, I can't help him on the court. And then you're like, God, what if this, like, you know, he has a bad player, the team stinks, and it hurts his psyche or his soul, and it crushes his dreams. And I was just talking to my wife, it's like, he's just going to have it different. Like, if he makes that high school basketball team, he'll be in a world that we never even could have contemplated, like, with what he achieved. And you start doing this, like, I can't help him. Do I coach him? Do I try to, like, be hardcore? Do I just do like the, hey, everything's great. And it dawned on me, it's like my son is now at that age. He's 11. He's going to start facing things on his own. And what I could or couldn't do is mostly over now. Now I'm just here to be a touchstone, a rock, a support, right? But like he's starting to face things where there could be consequences. He could get hurt. Like his dreams could be trampled. And I was like, my little baby boy, who I still think of as that baby I held, is now in the world. And yes, his hopefully, fingers crossed, won't end in him putting on Jedi and eating people. But he's in the world now. He's in the world in a way that is fucking terrifying as a parent. And me and Amy now have started to think, before you know it, within the next 10, 11 years, we'll be like this. We'll be in an empty house that once was where we had kids and a family. And like, I think that's the kind of stuff, that's a universal truth that this movie captures and plays on and exploits for a kind of existential dread that the monster movie doesn't really matter to. And that's what the best horror stories do, is they disrupt and implode a very normal, familiar life and ask us to contemplate.
I think existential dread's got to be probably the key component here, because I don't think without it, that third act of the movie is dog shit. Like, if you're just going for looks, that third act doesn't make any sense and doesn't matter at all. Like, there's some shock value to it, but the emotional resonance of, like, especially like, oh my God, the Amber Girl's half body. Holy shit. I was not
when they're
expecting
sitting
that.
in the white room.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're in like a Matrix loading room. She's just eating her. And it's like, hey, Mom.
Yeah, she's just
like,
eating.
Are you doing the one-eye trick to try to spy on me? Hey, what's up? I'm here. I'm not hiding it from you at all. You can't do shit to me. You have no power. And the horror of that is, that scene is so fucking cool.
It's so fucking good. Like, the whole concept, like, the whole ending, like her crawling through that fucking tunnel. Again, I was like, this production design is
That's where it's good that we're fats. That's not even on the table for us. We're just like, oh, I can't go in there.
Yeah. If I saw the tunnel, I'd be like, I'm out. That's not happening.
Dude, I couldn't even get my fucking thigh through that tunnel. I'd be like, this is great. I don't have to go confront my child's monster.
Hey, respect, Toby. No.
Yeah, good for you. Way to keep it tight, Toby. Good for you. But no, like, here's another small scene exactly like that, right? Where we just see these like children's cars driving around.
Yeah.
And it's like a very childish moment for this girl that we know is now entering adulthood and womanhood. You know, all the allegories you want to make of like puberty and sexual discovery, all that kind of stuff, right? This is a very childish moment from a woman that we know is eating things, right? There's fucking bones everywhere. We know what's happening. Right? The movie tries to hide it like a good parent would. You kind of look the other way. No, not my kid. But it's maybe that's not a good parent thing. I don't know why I said it like that. But they're laying there and they're face to face, side to side, and it's a mother-daughter. And the mom just looks at her and she goes, if you break my heart, I will devour you. I will eat you up, right? I love you so much I could eat you up. If you break my heart, I'll devour you. And it's this kind of threat, right? It's the last moment of a parent who's like, does this still work? Like, we've talked about it. His dad's like, what happens that day that we use our dad voice? And the kids just go, yeah, cool. And you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah. I got no more moves. Like, I'm out. like they're an autonomous nation. It's like, what do you do then? Do I implement ice tactics? Like, what can I do to still try to parent? Yeah. Comply or die. No,
not today.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, no. Bad.
You have to laugh about how awful everything is.
Yeah, just drifting towards fascist state, of course. I think
maybe there are some Hellbenders out there that can start aiming their fangs at a very specific upper echelon of human being.
Group of folks. Yeah, I mean, it is just like the parenting moment's true. I mean, again, that's like, it's fun too. Like, because when you're younger, like if you're in your like early 20s and you're single or whatever, you're probably watching this from a really like different point of view.
You're probably with the girl, right? You're probably with the daughter.
Like, this has happened over the last, obviously, 6 years of being a parent. Is I'm just like, oh wow, my focus has shifted so much that when I see movies like this, I know who I'm supposed to relate to. So I do try to like think like, oh, what was it like to be young like that and that kind of thing.
So we grew up with South Park, right? You remember that? And they said when it's so funny because that show's been on since I was in 4th or 5th grade. When I was a kid, you watched all the shows and you were the kids. And now as an old man, I'm always into Randy
everyone's
Marsh.
Randy.
Yeah, now I'm Randy Marsh. And it's fascinating how stories do change like that for you.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what's so fascinating about this movie is, you're just watching it and you're like, holy shit. This lady's got to get her daughter in line. Like, if I was in my 20s, I'd be like, man, this girl needs to fucking rock out. Like, be in your band. Like, get a new bassist.
And it's weird because I think you follow both, right? Where it's like, I do agree with the girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also know this, because that's what the movie's preying upon, is as an adult, right? If that was like my friend, I'd be like, dude, you cannot keep your kid doing drums and makeup in the basement and feeding them pine cones. Like, you got to let your kid go out in the world. I know it's scary, and I know they could get hurt. That's how it goes, right? Like, we're adults. We're entering the funerals, not wedding phase. They're in the wedding phase, man. They need to go out in the world and have big emotions and feel big things and experience it, right? We got to. Don't take that from them by being a helicopter. And the movie's preying on that, right? That real-world mindset that we all have.
Absolutely.
But then next thing you know, you're like, but she is eating Italian dudes in the woods.
Dude. Well, this is like, I think this is the crazy thing too, is like that parenting instinct you have, like when you're watching, at least for me, when I'm watching it, that parenting instinct I have is like, did you raise your kid right? It's like, well, technically she did raise her daughter correctly. She's doing,
maybe though, well, this is the classic, there is no light without the dark.
Like, well, it's also that thing about like, again, you were just saying this, but like, it's not like, did I raise my kid right? But it's more just like, did I do better than my parents did? Because she's constantly saying like, oh, I learned this stuff from my mother.
Yeah, and
like,
my mom was a monster. The monster we saw at the start of the movie. She's like 200 years old.
Yeah. So like, did I do better than my mom? It's like, I mean, that's another way to do it. Like, again, you're just watching this whole thing unfold, and you're like, this poor woman, she tried so hard.
Your mom was monstrous and ate half a village or whatever you said. You turned out pretty good. You tried to have your daughter live in this isolationist Candyland reality and didn't acknowledge the facts of the universe you occupy, right? Like, yes, you guys have this little utopia. You still have to drive into town multiple times in the movie to get things. Your daughter knows there's a grander world, but you will not engage with that reality. You try to hide the powers from them instead of, showing her at a young age, teaching her that can be a part of it. Hey, we can just go to the movie theater, right? Need a popcorn that has no fucking insects in it. So you could argue that the mom, by trying to protect her, actually has unleashed a more monstrous force than her evil mom did, right? In a world now that is completely unequipped to deal with these kind of monsters, right? We see even she tells the cop when they're like, hey, a hiker went missing here. We know that the mom dusted him, right? Like, and he turns into dust.
Yeah.
And the daughter goes, maybe it's a hellbender. It's a mix of a witch, a demon, and an apex predator. And the cop just goes, you whippersnapper. If you're not a designer, you should be a writer. Because that's our modern world. We no longer believe in monsters. We see human monsters every fucking day on the news and social media, just these horrible fucking debased examples of humanity that we can't even stop to think that they're a monster. So in a weird way, she's made her daughter become exactly like her mom was in a time when people aren't looking for monsters now. I think you could make a really good case that this girl's going to eat a lot more people than her mom ever did. And so somehow the trying to do your best actually backfired on her.
Well, okay, so the other part of the magic is like that Hellbenders, they reproduce by eating their mothers, essentially.
Well, yeah, so when you hit a certain phase and you eat your mom,
they like self-replicate.
You self-replicate a new Hellbender. It's very much like the Sith. There can only be two and always two. Right?
But yeah, so... But this is like, again, this ending, again, the only way this ending works, like if other than like, otherwise it's just like it's just like set pieces. The way this ending works, it has like any sort of emotional weight because like, okay, This has got to be one of my favorite like ending 2 lines to a horror movie ever, because truly, like, it's pretty fucking funny. With like the emotional weight it has, is actually very, very beautiful. Because you know, she crawls through this tunnel, she gets to the end, and she's sitting there, and basically, you know, Izzy's essentially saying like, listen, I'm not ready to be a mother, but like, you know, you're fine, you're safe. Like, I'm just gonna keep you here until I'm not gonna eat you yet. She's like, but I'm gonna go into town and get some things. Do you need anything? And the mom just goes, bass strings.
I'm telling you, dude, it's why it's the resolution. Like, the fucking beats grow hard in the heart. No, but it's like, even that. She just goes, I'm not ready to have a little Hellbender. Yeah, I'm on the way up. I don't want these things. So like, you now are gonna live in this fucking massive stomach, dungeon, vagina, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. And you can come out and play songs with me, and I go into fucking town now. And there's also this hint of, as her powers are growing, the mother's powers just will never match, and she can't stop her. She can't do anything. Especially as she starts eating humans, right? She's like, when you eat a human, you'll know real power. This kid's been munching galore. And so there is like there's like a weird part of me that's like, if this was a studio movie, you'd see the mom be like, I'm so sorry, I'll save you, and eat that girl's thigh. And then they'd have like the fucking Harry Potter battle.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just like, she knows that's not who the mom is. Yeah. She does that whole thing where,
if this was like
and
a
the wolf cracked its
movie,
teeth, the wolf cut its claws, and it tried to live as a sheep, and it had a baby. And to that baby, it cracked its teeth and cracked its claws. But as the baby grew, its claws came back. Its fangs came back. So this is like a fight they can't win. She already did that, and she's old. Her teeth and claws aren't growing back, whereas the child's are. Right. It's just a fight she'll never win. And so there's an absolute surrender at the end of that film. It's I know that my child has become monstrous and not what I thought, but they're still my child. Really they're still my mom.
It's a really good ending to a movie with like such a subtle, like, it's such a subtle thing. Like, can we please go back to just being in a band together? Like, there's something like, that's that yearning you have, like when your kid grows out of something, like, damn it. Like, oh man, I wish my kid still liked this. Oh, I wish we could still do this together. Like, there's like that sort of like parental regret. You're just like, damn. And that, like, I mean, that's the part that really, like, kind of like...
And you're working all the time. You fucking missed out on things. Like, you didn't give enough time to your kids. It's because you're like, I have to work. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's just gone. I'll never get it back. That sucks. Yeah. I have a whole fucking room full of dusty old giant dinosaur toys. And you're like, I'll never get to play dinosaurs with my kids again, probably. They're just not into it. And it sucks, man. It's sad.
Legos.
It's also, like, this other dread that it captures watching this movie now. Is just the ending of that is just, she's like, well, my kid's a fucking horrifying monster. Better look the other way and just get on with my existence. And you're like, God, there's probably a lot of mothers right now in the world that are like, well, I did a fucking terrible job, but they're my kid.
Yeah.
And that dread really crept through to me, right? Because she does that thing in the woods when they find the skeleton, and the mom knows in that moment who ate that skeleton. The mom knows exactly. She's like, I found a lot of these. They're picking them straight to the bone, like, pretty impressed with her. There's no way she doesn't know. And this is probably her last chance to try to take the upper hand and defeat her daughter, suppress her daughter if she wants, but she won't. And she just goes, whatever ate that thing is neither good or bad, right? It's just doing what's in its nature. Mm-hmm. And you see the daughter glom onto that the rest of the story, right? This motherly nugget of wisdom and philosophy becomes her undoing. Where at the end, she's like, this is the Hellbender's nature. Like, why suppress it? Why are you fighting against nature and reality? Why not embrace the power? And you're like, yeah, she's kind of throwing your own logic back in your face. And you don't have answers for it. That's another terrifying thing is someday your kids are going to realize that you're full of shit. And that there's no manual. Yeah. And you don't know anything. You don't have any great answers to the world. They're going to look at me and say, this is the philosophy of life that you gave me and that you live by. But what did that do for you? Where did that take you? You're a portly middle-aged man. Like, what did that do for you? And they're going to decide if they think everything I ever taught them is full of shit, right? And then that unravels all of these things you did your whole life. And how do you deal with that once you realize your parents don't know shit, you know? And That's what I mean. This movie is so full of beautiful, very real touchstone kind of moments of dread and contemplation. And then it mixes in this what feels like very thick and heavy lore on the Hellbenders without ever having to really stop and do the exposition dump. Like we just see, there's a secret room in a book. You put your hand on a sigil, and a key comes out of your hand. We don't have to explain that. We just get it. It's magic. And so it's a movie that neither side of the coin is fighting to consume the other. Very much like the mother and daughter, the lore and the mythology and the human story just kind of coexist in an almost perfect blend to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's just one of those things where here's my thing. For this movie, I didn't walk in expecting anything other than just like a movie. Like, you're going to watch a movie. It's called Hellbender. Got it. I think what I got was such a great, like, unencumbered, not beating you over the head metaphor for parenting, metaphor for being a teenager, metaphor for living your life. And, like, those are the kinds of movies that do well because they don't necessarily, like, it's not about it's doing nothing. It's like this. There's a thing that people talk about. I can't remember who said it, but it's talking about it's like people try to be cool. Like when people try to make cool things, like they're trying to make something cool. There's things that are just effortlessly cool or effortlessly good, and I feel like Hellbender falls into this category of like it's just something that was well made, and so it's good because it's saying the thing it wants to say without thinking about like, oh, how does this hit all four quadrants? How does this make sure like it's not? This is strictly for like if you had told me that this was somebody's like really expensive family movie, I would probably have been like, that's weird, but great, love it. That's love, sure.
Yeah, there's a rough earnestness to this movie, right? Like we just on the Monday show, we talked about the new movie Primate. Great fun, like set pieces of a guy in a monkey suit killing people carnage, right? It also is a movie that lacks authenticity. It's a movie that you can see, as I explained it, it feels like a movie where they put it into like AI. And they're like, what would fucking rock for a killer monkey movie? And it hits all the beats, and it's fun, and it's good, but there's a plasticity to that movie that makes it hard to engage with beyond, oh, this is like a fun like haunted house ride. There's no meat on the bones, right? It's like drinking a giant 7-Eleven Slurpee instead of eating something with protein in it. In this movie, it's that real fucking gritty storytelling, human storytelling that will never be unvogue.
Yeah, this is like when I go to the theater and I get a hot dog. I'm like, oh, I really needed, that's what I want from the movie theater at this point.
Yeah.
I do not want, and then my kid goes for, Nerds Clusters or whatever the fuck they eat now. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you're like, it's sustenance.
I think you might have a parenting flaw of your own where you're like, I chose real sustenance, a hot dog. I'm eating cylindrical buttholes.
Hot dogs are delicious.
They are delicious. I would say they're not real food. Maybe that's the thing. Someday our kids are going to realize we're full of shit on everything. Who knows, man? I
mean, my kid will realize I'm full of shit pretty quickly. But that's okay. And I think this is like, but, I
can't wait for the day to look in my kid's eyes and be like, oh, no, they know. They know. The fucking crumbling shame of that.
Well, Henry's in that phase now where he just like everything's a kind of a question. Like, oh, why are we doing that? Oh, what's that? Why did you say that? What'd you say? What is that? And like a couple of times, especially yesterday, I was like, dude, we've capped the questions for the day. Like we're done. We're done asking
parental
questions.
Defeat. I don't have answers, dude. I don't have fucking.
But I realize. Well, but that's what it is, and I realize like that's what I loved so much about watching this movie was. I don't want to be a parent who thinks they have all the answers. And I think that's like the fatal flaw of the mother is she thinks she has the answers to these problems and there's no answer. Like you have to.
Again, she has a philosophy that things will do what's in their nature, but thinks she can be the one person that defeats nature. So instead of trying to harness it or aim it for good, right? Like a Dexter. I know that you're a serial killer. Why don't you just kill other serial killers, right? Instead of doing anything like that and grappling with truth, she tries to paint a fantasy that can never be.
Yeah.
Best intentions pave the road to hell, right? That's what this movie is. I don't know, just really crushes on every level. Alex, what's the most messed up moment in Hellbender?
I mean, I think it's her eating that girl, like them sitting across from each other while she's eating that girl. I was not expecting that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, just torso all shredded. She's kind of got forks and a table. You're like, oh, she interior designed for this.
See, that's
this
the thing.
Terrifying.
When she's like twirling it like pasta, I was like, what the fuck is going on in this movie all of a sudden? It
not
tunes
only
you back
that,
in. I like that.
Not only that, she's writing this fantasy specifically to show her mom who and what she is. Her mom's doing the little trick where she puts her hand on the blood sigil and covers her eyes so she can spy on her daughter. And her daughter's like, you don't got to do that. Come in. Watch me eat. Right? Like, my kids see me at a fucking Golden Corral. Like, yeah, watch your dad do horrible things. Come over here. See that? Yeah, that has so many terrifying implications. Very brutal moment. If I had to pick the most messed up moment, I think I'm going to go with the blood puking scene. These two women who are like, the mom knows she's losing her daughter. And so she's like, how do I lose my daughter who's starting to face what seems like an addiction story? She's like, what if we each take a hit together? And she can see that I still party and we'll be cool. So they eat maggots together. And next thing you know, they're just kind of flaunting their abilities and puking on each other, right? Throwing blood up on each other's face and calling each other like lovable, like, oh, you bitch, oh, you cunt. Like, moms and daughters are wont to do. The pairing to that scene, though, is when they do it and the mom's like all fried, right? She's like almost hungover. And she's on her daughter's lap and she's just like, we can't do that anymore. And the daughter's just like, why not? And the mom's trying to make this kind of excuse of like, oh, that's not good, it's not right. And you can watch the daughter look down at her mom like, oh, she doesn't get it. Like, what a loser. That's the moment the daughter knows she's going to have to consume and dominate her mother. It's the end of this lovely family that we followed for this whole movie, this beautiful relationship. You watch in that moment, that's the moment the relationship's all the way dead. And that this girl now is going to embrace and take over her own story. And there's a weird, like, familial horror in that really sits deep in your belly.
It's good.
Such a good movie, man. That's it for Hellbender. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Find it on Shudder. Shudder. They just have a wealth of good things. Go find Shudder. Make sure you go to Indiegogo.
Good movie,
Type
Toby.
in Mr. Cream Jeans. Yeah. Type in Mr. Cream Jeans so that you can help us get our first movie out into the world. You can get the perk where you can join this podcast and talk about anything messed up that you want. That would mean the world to us. Go to the Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon page. The best way to support and help this podcast. That would mean the world to us. We're on all the socials. You're on all the socials. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of them, right? Find Misfit Parade. Let's hook it up and make 2026 fantastic.